We're doing real estate mindset.
Millionaire mindset.
Millionaire mindset. We're in fucking real estate. We better hurry up before she catches me smoking in the house. Today's topic is going to be the difference between commercial and residential real estate, a world of difference. Unless you buy residential property for investment, then your residential becomes commercial in a sense. But in the eyes of the industry, you own residential property. Now, it could be residential income property, or you can live in it. Residential technically is 1 to 4 units. Commercial is 5 or more. Different rules, different brokers, different laws, different everything, mostly. But if you got a residential income property, you're gonna be considered commercial, because especially if you got more than 4. It could be 4 here, or 1 there, or 2 there. Residential is typically to help the homeowner. That's why the laws are different, okay? Most people buy residential, they buy a house to live in, but people are buying for all kinds of reasons now. Renting them by the day, renting them by the night, renting them by the month, renting them by the week, renting them by the year. You know, I heard of people renting out fucking rooms, okay? That's where Rafal started at. That was when he made it out of his car. When you're buying residential income or commercial income, okay, it's a whole set of different things you really need to worry about besides buying a residential property. A residential property, all right, you find out how much you qualify for, you go out and find a house you want to live in, you buy the house, but before you do, of course, you'll hire a home inspector for next to nothing if you're not sure about everything working in the house, and you're pretty much safe, okay? It's not a big giant transaction. It's a very important transaction if you're one of those people sitting around paying rent right now. That's your first step of getting off your ass and building some kind of life. Residential is pretty simple, you know? You go out, you find a house you like in the right neighborhood, you're gonna live in it, you make sure it's in good shape, you get a good interest rate, and that's it. You live happily ever after, okay? But when you want to get into the business of real estate and making money, then you got risk, because you need the money coming in, because you're gonna have money going out. Now you're really, in my mind, I always felt when I bought anything, whether it was a duplex, a triplex, 100 units, 500 units, 1,000 units I bought one time like a nutcase, you're owning a business. It's a real business, okay? And it's sitting there making money, or supposed to be. So when you're in commercial real estate, you gotta be in the mindset. I don't care if you bought a single family house and it brings you in rent money every month. It's a business. It's not a hard business. It's not a business that takes up a lot of your time, but it's still an independent business. Just like I always make them single member LLCs. They're separate by themselves. On your tax return, it's gonna be a line item or a column of mine, Schedule E, I think, where it's gonna show the income, it's gonna show the expenses, it's gonna show all your write-offs, and it's gonna show what the hell you pay tax on, which is very little, hopefully, after the depreciation. Think of it as a business you're buying. If you're going out looking for income property, you're buying a real business, okay? You got a lot of homework to do. If you go to benmallah.com, somewhere Rafal claims he put Ben's secret due diligence list on there, okay? Where he goes over all these things, he checks them off, provided they apply to the property, on what he needs to remember to look for before we buy a property. I think he needs to update it, because the retail, all kinds of new stuff is popping up that I never seen before.
There's like commercial apartments and commercial stores.
Now you got, I don't even know all the categories of commercial. It must be a list a mile long. Today, I looked at something that I thought would be my ultimate dream retirement deal. It was some giant, 1 million square feet of warehouse space with big friggin' name companies renting the space out. I can't compete with the cap rate they're looking for. They're offering a very low cap rate. But you got industrial, which is where they're manufacturing stuff, and then you got EPA shit involved. Then you got light industrial, you got warehouse, you got retail, you got office, you got multifamily. There's probably more, and I don't even know them. You got the storage business. I think that's its own type of real estate now? I don't know. Or maybe it's considered light industrial. There's a lot of different types of real estate and commercial. You got to figure out which one fits you. Okay, you can't just jump into. I can't just jump into fucking industrial. I don't know shit about it. I can't just jump into big giant warehouses. I'm gonna do my homework and learn about it. Just like we're still learning about retail, and the hotel business is something new every day, which is more than owning commercial real estate. The hotel is really owning the commercial real estate and the business. That'll drive you nuts. What else you got? Thank God I ain't gonna work in them. You got to be careful with retail. The only reason why you're going to buy retail cheap right now is if it's empty and vacant. That's where you're going to make your big money. Because the whole price and the value of retail or any commercial property is based on the space being occupied and rented and making money. So if you want to buy retail and you're getting a really good deal because there's no money coming in, but price per square foot, you're getting a great deal, you better be ready to rent that space out. Okay, it reminds me, I got to call on a couple of retail deals we're working on. Depending on the retail, well, regardless, if you have a loan on a property, you're going to have the building insured. Unless you get lucky, which I've had a couple of times, like a Home Depot, where they insured a whole damn building and everything. Then the bank's happy with that. As long as they list them on the insurance policy, everybody's happy. And I'm listed on it too. But typically, when you buy a commercial property, you're responsible for buying insurance for it. Get more than one quote, because there's a lot of fluff in that puff. There's a lot of hands it goes through before the person that's actually selling you the insurance. Get quotes, insure your asset. The bank's going to require it. Whatever type of insurance you need, get it. And make sure you got somebody's paying for liability that covers you too. Normally, you can take that insurance cost in retail and spread it out amongst all the tenants, so they pay for it. That's the beauty of triple nets. The tenants reimburse you for all your things that you spend to maintain that property. CAM, C-A-M, look it up. You start in real estate with whatever you can possibly do. What is within your reach? Okay, if you can only afford to go out there and buy a $100,000 deal or $1 million deal, as long as it's a deal, that's all that matters, and that you have the ability to close the deal. So you can't say there's a certain spot in real estate. Yeah, I got my sweet spot, you're gonna have your sweet spot. It all depends on what you got to put on the table. All right, if you want to talk more about this type of stuff, tell us what you want to talk about. I don't know what your problems are. Send in a comment, contact Rafal at benmallah.com. Whatever you want to do, let us know, and we'll keep doing this stuff. Otherwise, we won't waste our time. Adios, amigos.